The man of 1,000 faces waits in heaven for a letter to an angel. The day Lon Chaney died, it came to Mrs. Roberta O'Toole like a banshee that this actor's death was to influence her life in some fateful fashion. Lon Chaney was not merely a movie star, but more like a living member of the family. He was Timmy O'Toole's idol, just as young Tim was the shamrock of his mother's eye. All the time she was undressing Timmy for bed, worry thoughts niggled and naggled in Mother's mind. How should she break the news to him? He was sure to be shocked. It was worse than the Christmas when parents finally nerved themselves to tell their youngsters that there is no Santa Claus. Would her mother's instincts tell her the right moment? Or could she skillfully maneuver it some way? It would be cruel to leave him to learn about it at school tomorrow from one of the members of his monster club. The solution offered itself quite naturally. Timmy, the pajama fly neatly buttoned up over his plump little bottom, knelt by his pillow and said his goodnight prayers. After the family names and the president, he concluded, and God bless Douglas Fairbanks and Mary Pickford, and most of all, God bless Lon Chaney. Then he turned and kissed his mommy and clambered into bed. "Tell me a ghost story," he said, "with Lon Chaney in it." Mother hesitated. "Timmy," she began. Her voice held a strange sound in it, moist and minery, like the time his little puppy, Clover King, had been run over. Sensing some tragedy about to enter his life, Timmy hugged his cloth and stuffings replacement of Clover. "Timmy, Mommy has something to tell you about Mr. Chaney. You know, people don't live forever, especially people who work very hard, and Mr. Chaney, he died today. She said no more, but helplessly regarded in mute horror what she had done to her little son. With all the love and best intentions in the world, she had not been able to protect him from this moment. His china blue eyes had gone saucer wide. His naturally pale face had visibly whitened. Unconsciously, he clutched Clover around his muzzle. His nose wrinkled, his face squeegeed up, and his breath escaped irregularly as though he had the start of a sniffly cold. "Lon Chaney died? He died?" Disbelief, soul deep, clogged Timmy's throat. "Yes, dear, in the newspaper it said, 'Show me!'" His voice held a tone of doubting Thomas insisting to touch the wound in the side of his risen master. Mother moved into the front room, grateful for a momentary escape from her grim ordeal. "Jerome, have you got the paper handy?" Father handed the paper to Mother. "How's he taking it?" "Hard, worse than we thought." Mother returned to the bedroom. Timmy sat up straight in bed like a martyr about to lose his eyesight. "Show me," he said. "Show me where it says." Mother pointed to the headlines. The type was very large. "World Mourns Chaney." There was a montage covering half the front page. Chaney as Quasimodo, as the Phantom of the Opera, as the slant-eyed Oriental Mr. Wu, as the Pagliacci of He Who Gets Slapped, as the contorted cripple of the Miracle Man. August 26th, 1930, and Lon Chaney, the master of makeup, the man of 1,000 faces, was dead of cancer in a hospital in Hollywood. Timmy held the paper in his hands a long, long time. It trembled slightly. Mother said nothing. She saw tears forming in his eyes. She sat helplessly by, not knowing what to say in this crisis, what gesture of comfort or understanding to offer. Then she saw something else forming in Timmy's eyes. Resolution. He threw off the bed covers. "Timmy, whatever you're doing." "I have to get dressed, Mom." "Dressed? At this time of night? It's nearly 9:15, dear. Whatever for?" Something. Well, Mother hesitated and appealed to authority. I don't know what your daddy will say. Perhaps I'd better go ask him. Mother left the room in indecision. Timmy was busy shrugging back into his coveralls. Mother went directly to Father. Father put down his pipe. Timmy's acting funny, she said. In what way? He's getting dressed. I can't think whatever for. Dressed? Let's see. Mother trailed Father to Timmy's room. Timmy was sitting at his writing desk. He had torn a page from his Big 5 notebook. He was laboriously printing something, nervously licking the pencil lead from time to time. When he was finished, he volunteered to show what he had written to Mother and Father. Dear Lon Chaney, don't be lonely tonight. I am praying for you and missing you. I will never forget you. Please answer this if you can. Your best fan, Timothy O'Toole, 5327 Citrus Avenue, Los Angeles, California. Now I need an envelope and a stamp, an airmail stamp. Wordlessly, with a look of incomprehension to Father, Mother fetched Timmy his envelope and stamp. Timothy folded the note neatly twice, inserted it in the envelope, licked the flap, sealed it, and printed on the cover, Lon Chaney, Heaven. Then he affixed the big red and blue 5 center. Again he found use for his parents. Dad, have you a flashlight? Why, whatever for, son? I want to find my kite. At this time of night, asked Mrs. O'Toole. Please, it's very important, Mother. What do you want with your kite tonight, Timmy? I need to send this message, Dad. To Lon Chaney? With your kite? Yes. Mother turned away to stifle a sob. Don't you think it's a little late, son? Gosh, it's already after 9 o'clock. Dad, what time do angels go to bed? Why, I really don't know. I guess grown angels stay up pretty late, suggested Mother. Then I have to go. Mother went to the closet and brought back Timmy's warm green pullover. I want you to put this on if you're going out into the chilly night air, she said. Gently, she pulled the sweater over Timmy's head and down over his little humped back. In the dark garage, Daddy chased eerie shadows away from the pale beam from the 10-cent store searchlight. The amber ray fell on Timmy's homemade goblin mask with its hollow cucumber nose protruding like a tapir's snout, and its mass of Excelsior hair dyed blood red with Rit. The light touched his penny-a-day lending library of a baker's dozen of Ghost Stories magazine with their spooky covers. Outside, a chorus of crickets stridulated their night song. Crickadee, crickadee, crickadee. Illuminated in turn were Timmy's genuine, original boomerang, procured from the catalog of the mail-order novelty house in Kansas, his precious personally scissored and pasted scrapbook of Lon Chaney pictures, the gunpowdery smelling shells of burned-out fireworks still saved from the 4th as fine mementos of an exhilarating evening of pyrotechnics, and at last hung up on a 10-penny nail his dusty kite. The bad tear in it would need repair before it could take to the sky again. Mother's brown stickum paper could take care of that. A big daddy Longlegs, his nocturnal affairs disturbed by this unusual activity in his domain, and sensing danger, hastily began to descend from the web he had industriously spun over the kite. Don't step on it. It may be Lon Chaney. If every kid in the country took the publicists as seriously as Timmy, no flack artist need ever worry about his promotion being successful. Yes, Timmy was convinced a man who could make his legs disappear, who could grow a hump on his back and take it off. That was a trick Timmy hoped to accomplish when he grew up. Who could look like he was blind, who could throw real sharp knives with his toes and hit the bullseye, who could slide down a tightrope on his head. Who was to deny that such a godlike man might not also make himself look like a gorilla, or a scarecrow, or even a spider? Timmy, his own shadow wavering like some supernatural specter, reached with a finger and cautiously picked Mr. Longlegs' web strand out of the air. Gently he let the old grandfather down onto the oily gravel, watched him scuttle away to safety behind an empty orange crate. Then Daddy lifted down the high flyer. They took the kitten to the house. Mother insisted on taking it back to the back porch and dusting it off. Its rent was patched. Then Timmy took a safety pin and attached his envelope to the tattered tail of the kite, a couple of Father's Day ties that had seen better days. Son and father set out hand in hand for the ballpark. Mother was agitated, but Dad had nodded his brow-furrowed, quick, sharp, don't interfere nod. So she bided her counsel and contented herself with calling after them, "Try not to be gone too long, Daddy. Timothy isn't used to the night air, and it's bedtime." "All right, dear. And don't let him overexert himself. The doc